This week on NintenDomain, we have Janet come in to talk about Kirby.
And I've got light reflecting in my eye. What is that? Is that Smash Brothers?
It's time we all grow up.
Never. Welcome to NintenDomain episode 112, 112, an age that we may never live to, unless we survive to like the time when we can become robots and all that. But aside from that, we are your number one Nintendo podcast, hopefully. We're here to talk to you about Nintendo news and other fun things and games we've been playing and, Kirby also at the end of the show. We are your hosts. I'm Trey, couldn't win Splatfest even with help, Johnson.
Oh, I'm Jeremy, Cord Killer Mikowski.
I'm John, can't win Splatfest because I don't have Splatoon knitter.
That's true, but you should get Splatoon because it's a great game.
Should.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Last week, Jeremy and I did a stream where we played, we recorded and then we just put it on YouTube. Regardless, you can find it on our YouTube channel. We played Chicken vs. Egg, and I don't know if you knew. I mean, I said it at the beginning, but we lost. Chicken won. Egg did not win. But I still ended up getting some of those mushroom shell things. So
did I.
That's cool.
I got over 10 of them.
Oh, really? I think I got
I think so.
I thought I got like 9. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it was fun. We played for a couple hours, and I thought that it didn't record, and then it did record, so it's pretty cool. I don't know if you listened to it, but you're like super loud. I have you turned up way too high for some reason, which I didn't actually get to listen to it to find out that until after the fact. But it's fun to watch.
No, I didn't get to listen to it.
We have a really hard time trying to link up with each other on Splatoon 2, which is always difficult if you don't have like a squad, if you don't have like a 4-player team, to join up with. But from what I Googled it later after we already did it, but apparently what you have to do is one person will start a match, and then you go to to find your friend, and then it'll try to put you into that match, but you have to be like really quick about it, and that's basically how it works. So we could have tried that, but.
And you have to do that each time? It's not like you stay matched up after that, or?
You might stay matched up after that. I don't know. We'll have to try it for the next Splatfest. But anyway, we played it regardless and had fun with it and recorded a conversation.
I actually played a little bit more the next day before I went to work.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I forgot how fun Splatoon was, and I was having a good time. Also, I bought that Zappery that you said you've been using.
Oh yeah, the NES Zapper.
I really like it. It's like a lot more fun in the deathmatch. Like, I'm killing a lot more. I'm splatting a lot more.
Yeah. Well, you have and that's the one that has like the secondary weapon, right? Where you shoot like all the rockets off your back and you can like target people.
Yep, it's that, and then it's also
that one's really cool.
It's just like a bomb that like covers a bunch of paint.
Yeah, doesn't it have
for the secondary weapon?
Doesn't it have the chicken bomb too? I know one of them does, like the chicken bomb that walks.
I think it's the chicken bomb, yeah.
Yeah, after we had that interview with Fuchsia, like way back when she was talking about the chicken bomb, I was like, chicken bomb, what's that? So that was part of like me trying to find that. Plus, I really like the Aerospray MG or whatever, but it's like a super move isn't that great, so I was trying to find something that had a better super move. And I like that rocket launcher thing, like the shoots off your back where you can target like 5 people at once. Like that's always a cool thing to do. And I don't really use a whole lot of the secondary weapons, but the chicken one's good for that. Have we convinced you enough to get Splatoon 2 here, John? It is an awesome game, actually, and you'll get a ton of time out of it. People play it for like 200 plus hours.
I think I'll definitely get it eventually. Maybe not right now. I still gotta get that new memory card first. But,
oh, sure, yeah.
It's definitely on my list.
Whenever you get a new memory card, you should get
update,
it. Yeah. If you don't have a new one yet, and you get in when you come to Chicago, I'll just give you one. I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of extra little ones. I mean, they're not that big though, is the thing. Like, I think it's only like 100 or 30 or something like that. I don't know, I'll have to look, cause I do have a good amount of, micro SD cards because, I bought a bunch for the 3DS and for the Switch and all that. But yeah, that was.
Yeah, I want to get one of the big ones so I don't have to buy 5 of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, ideally you probably want to get the biggest one you can get. Like I got a 200 one and that one's pretty much full, but I'm kind of like, I'm deleting stuff that I'm not playing, or like after I finish something and I'm like, I probably won't go back to that for a while, I delete it, So that's kind of like how I've been doing it. And some of them, I don't know, it depends. Like if I ever make it through Doom or like Resident Evil and decide to delete one of those are like 20 gig games. So it's like, you can take big chunks out like that. I don't know. But, that's what we've been doing. But yeah, Splatoon 2 was really fun. It was fun to do a Splatfest with you. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just wish we could have been on the same team easily. Like I wish that was easy.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Is otherwise, it was still a lot of fun.
The game's awesome. It sucks that we could not be in the actual like virtual world together. We were talking, but we were both in completely different matches. So we couldn't actually be like, oh, isn't that crazy? What happened to that guy over there? I mean, we could do that, but you wouldn't see it. So, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool to do. I had a lot of fun with that. Those Splatfests are always fun, and I started progressing. I progressed more through the single player. I think I only have the last set of levels now. Because as I was saying on the video, I can't bring myself to spend money on more single player until I finish the regular single player, so that's my mission. It's been like, I gotta make it through the single player. But I'm on like the last set of levels. But yeah, that game's a lot of fun. It's a gift that keeps on giving if you like third person multiplayer online stuff, which I didn't even really like it before Splatoon 1. It kind of just got me into it. It was the most I had ever played online multiplayer, was that game because in the first one they just kept adding stuff like every week, like new weapons, like new stages and all that. So they kept giving you reasons to come back, and it was all free, First time they ever charged anything for it. But on that note, do you want to talk about the Direct? We haven't really gotten Jeremy's thoughts on it. Do you want to jump right into the Direct since I was already talking about it partially with Splatoon 2?
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Or do you want to do?
You guys talked about it all. Unfortunately, I had to work. I think I said that last week.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't working. I was doing something else that Trey said last week.
Oh, fighting the Uka Uka?
Yeah, I was fighting the Uka Uka.
Which I took from like the one game that I have no interest in playing whatsoever that was on that Direct. Do you know where the Uka Uka
I don't even remember which
from?
one was the Uka Uka.
It's from Crash Bandicoot's the Insane Trilogy.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's the game I will never play because I don't like those games. Yeah. The Uka Uka is the group that he's fighting, I guess, in there. I mean, I think you said it in the stream, in the Splatoon 2 stream, but it's pretty much like somebody saw that part from Raiders of the Lost Ark when like Indiana Jones runs away from the rock and they're like, man, we should make a whole game like that. Like, no, you shouldn't. You really should not. Don't do that. Yeah, it's like terrible camera angles and it's And just think that was PlayStation's like answer to Super Mario 64 at the time. I mean, that's a terrible answer. It's like this game is no way is good. I can't believe it's on. I mean, I think it was already on. I feel like the DS had a couple Crash games, either the DS or the Game Boy Advance did. I feel like it has been on Nintendo in some way before. But if you remember back in the 90s, like Crash, like running around with the megaphone, like yelling at Nintendo in the parking lot and all that, it's like, hey, look where you are now, man. Now you're on the system. It's crazy.
There's some, I did see an old, I think someone posted it on NBC. It was like an old ad from back in the day, and it was like, Sonic on one side, Mario in the middle, and then Crash on the other, and it was like the ultimate battle or something between all the consoles. And now they really have all lost to Nintendo.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's like graciously allowing them to continue existing,
There was a game on the DS called Crash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was another one.
Wasn't there a kart game also on there? Wasn't Crash Nitro on DS?
Maybe.
I felt like there was. It wasn't the good one. It wasn't the good one that was on PlayStation 1, but it was a sequel to that. I think was on DS. I want to say Crash
Nitro Kart DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a kart game.
No, Game Boy Advance.
Oh, Game Boy Advance even. Okay. It was on one of them. Yeah, so I mean, they eventually came around. Oh, that one was on GameCube even. The Crash Nitro kart was. So, yeah, it didn't take that long for them to get on the Nintendo system. But aside from the Direct, I did want to say one quick thing in news before I forget. Speaking of like what you're saying about how like Crash and Sonic are all on Nintendo's side, apparently they aren't because there's going to be a new Sega collection game coming out for every system other than the Switch. It made me really sad.
That's the worst.
Because, guess what's on there? Streets of Rage. And it will not be on the Switch. It makes me very angry. Should make you angry too. Because, I saw it with like, there's a picture of like exploding, like, all these characters exploding out of it and like Axel's there and I'm like, and Skate and everybody. I'm like, come on guys. I thought you were friends. I thought Nintendo and Sega were like buddies. You want to make a Sega greatest hits game and not put it on Switch? I don't understand. It's not a graphical thing. I would totally
get that. If there were 50 games for the Genesis available on the Switch, like, I'd get that today.
Yeah.
I'd make it happen.
Well, I mean, it's not out yet, but.
Is it
I'd
like,
get it today, I'd be so psyched about it. I would go down there and make them put it out today. But yeah.
You'd be like, hey, Sega, get with it.
Yep.
Head on over to Sega now and be like, give us that disc.
It just
Switch
doesn't.
disc.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense. Like, why they would not release it on Switch. I don't really
Maybe
understand.
it'll be announced at E3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe something better is coming with the virtual console. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think
and
that's
if there
coming.
is, they don't want to release a
Yeah.
gaming collection if they can sell each game individual.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually coming, but well, who knows? But what aside from me the bringer of bad news of a Sega collection not coming to Nintendo, what was your favorite parts from the Direct, Jeremy?
Well,
what did you think?
I'm looking over it again. It was a good Direct. It wasn't earth-shattering. A lot of stuff that we've wanted to see for a while. Like, okay, so I thought it was cool that Undertale was coming to. Oh
yeah.
Which I've thought about buying it on PlayStation, even though I already own it on the PC. I've already beaten it, but I haven't played through it multiple times. I haven't, gotten the full gameplay. And the whole time I was playing it, I wanted to play it with a D-pad. So I'm pretty excited that I'll get to use a D-pad. And so I'll definitely get that, even though I already own it. But yeah, probably sounds kind of generic, but of course, Octopath Traveler was like
it has a release now.
It's got a release, and I mean, it just looks even cooler than it already is.
I don't ever buy Deluxe things, but I kind of want the $100 one, even though it's like stupid to pay $100 for a game, but especially because I'll probably end up getting it digitally because, when you get it digitally, you get to play it the night before, and I like doing that, and then I don't have to go get it the next day. And I'm super excited about Octopath Traveler. But still, that deluxe edition looks so cool with the pop-up book and all that shit. It's like, man, I want that.
It does look really cool, but I don't know if I'll get it. I thought it was a joke when I saw there was a Dark Souls amiibo.
Yeah, right.
What the hell?
Yeah, the Praise the Sun guy. I mean, that's pretty,
I'll get it. I mean, there was a Shovel Knight amiibo, so, whatever at this point.
I hope
it's not that surprising, but that's the least amiibo-ish of games I could think of.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I think they said like, hey, we're being on the Switch, we need an amiibo. We really need an amiibo. I mean, why not? If I was making a game for Nintendo, I'd be like, I want to make an amiibo. But apparently, I mean, from what I heard from Shovel Knight, it wasn't an easy task, to make one third party. So I'm wondering if like From Software got help with Nintendo on it, or if they didn't, I don't know. Because I heard it was pretty difficult to make that Shovel Knight amiibo, because they had to make it on their own. Like Nintendo didn't help them with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so they designed it.
Yeah, well, it's a third party. Like they made it because I guess everybody's allowed to make their own amiibo if they want, but they kind of did that on their own. Like Nintendo didn't make that. That's why it has like where you can scan it and all that. Like that was stuff that they did, So
it was manufactured by Just Toys International. That's not what the amiibo were made out of.
That's probably the company. I don't know. That makes them. But I listened to an interview with the guy who made it, and he said that it was difficult to get the.
Yeah, it's a different manufacturer than this Nintendo one.
Yeah, he said it was difficult, so you had to do it. So I'm wondering if Dark Souls is like that too.
Needless to say, I'll probably get it just because it's stupid. I want an Okami one. I want an Okami amiibo.
Oh, and Amaterasu. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I recently bought this game for GameCube, or not GameCube, for Switch.
For Wii U?
And I started playing it a little bit, Okami, but it's not the HD version.
You mean you bought it for Wii, right?
That's what I said. I bought it for Wii.
Yeah, you said you bought it for Switch. I'm like, what? It's not out yet.
I bought it for the Wii.
Yeah,
it's not the HD version. Kind of want to buy this, even though I just bought it recently because it's HD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you have if you get a Wii and a whatever component thing, you can kind of watch it HD. I mean, it'll be 480i, I guess, and that one will be 720p. But you have the special version with the IGN watermark on it, then the one that has that was the picture they took from IGN.
Oh right? yeah.
Because Capcom had already they had already canned Clover, and they needed pictures of it, and they stole it from the internet, which is funny. But yeah, I'm excited about that game too, about Okami HD.
Have you ever played through it? Did you play it on the Wii?
Yeah, I played the Wii version. That was the only one that I played. I played through all of it there. But
I remember that game when it first came out. It came out for the PS2 originally, and
yeah.
I took a whole week off of work. Just to play it.
Yeah, it was IGN's Game of the Year. I remember, I love this, this is the way you described it to me, and I still remember it. You said, you remember that part when you collect all those little, things of light in, Zelda?
Yeah.
And you said, Okami, the whole game is like that. And it is kind of like that. Like the, whatever they're called.
The Tears of Light.
Yeah, the Tears of Light. You said the whole game was collecting Tears of Light, which it kind of is. It is. But I like it. I like the game. And,
it's a little less frustrating, but it's also, I think it'll be more fun to play on the Switch. I don't know, in handheld mode if they'll have touchscreen controls. I don't know if we know the full.
No, they will. It said in the Direct. It said that there'll be that you can draw it on the screen in handheld mode, and in like docked mode you can use the Joy-Cons to motion the thing, like the way you did it on the Wii. Because the Wii you drew them with the pointer control, so it's basically gonna be the same way. I thought
it was cool that Captain Toad's coming to the Switch, but I don't want to buy it again just yet. If it's if it's a super budget title, maybe, but there's some extra content that we won't be able to play on the Wii U. That kind of sucks a little bit, but I don't really want to pay full price for this game again.
Well, it comes out the same day as Octopath Traveler also, so that kind of like threw it under the bus automatically for me.
Hey, yeah. There we go.
Because it comes out on on July 13th, which is Octopath Traveler Day, and I'm like, sorry, Toad, you get nothing. But, I mean, the original Toad game wasn't full price, though, I don't think. Wasn't it $50 on Wii U, or was it $40? I feel like it wasn't $60 when it came out.
It wasn't full price. I can't remember if it was $40 or
so. It might be $40 or something. I don't know.
There's the WarioWare game, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's 3DS, I know, but I'll probably still get it because it's WarioWare, and I'm a big fan. Otherwise, I mean, a lot of these games are ports and stuff that look pretty cool.
Yeah. What about Bowser's Inside Story for 3DS? That's supposed to be the best one. Did you ever play that one?
I have it, and I started playing it on probably like 2 years ago. I bought it and started playing it, and I played a couple hours into it, and then I just stopped because I got distracted. But I own it already. We're all on the same
page. We all have it. We all didn't finish it, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the one that I already have.
Yeah. I don't really care about Bowser Jr.'s journey. He can do that by himself.
But it might say like what his mom is, like who his mom is. We never really know. Like nobody ever says.
That's true.
Maybe it's Boom Boom or Bam Bam or whatever his name is. I don't know. I want to know the secret story. If it's like, oh hey, it really is Peach.
I've heard this Little Nightmares game is not very good.
Yeah, I heard from our host in the future that I know she didn't care for it, but I still want to try it. I think the art looks really cool.
It looks really cool, but I heard it's a terrible game. Or read that it was.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that we're still not getting Tomb Raider. Like, where the fuck are we gonna get Tomb Raider on a Nintendo console?
Really? You want Tomb Raider?
No.
I didn't get to mention it last week because I didn't know, but there were a couple games on the Japanese Direct that weren't on the American Direct. There's like a new Taiko Drum Master game on there, which looks pretty cool. It's going to have music from Splatoon 2 on there. That's probably one I could just download though. Like you could like import it, I guess, because there's probably not a whole lot of text to it. So I was like, I forgot that everything's like region free, and I can get on the eShop like as my Japanese account, and I can just easily get it. So I'll probably get that. There was also
they're going to have a drum peripheral. You just use the
you're going to use the Joy-Cons, but like the HD Rumble is going to make it feel like you actually hit something with the stick, and I really want to. Okay. I want to know what that's like. You know, I'm an ex-drummer. I played drums in high school, not very well, but I did play drums. Jeremy and I played in a Ramones cover band where I played drums back in the day. But yeah, no, I want to try it out. And I like Taiko. It's like it was like the more simple version of Donkey Konga, which they're both kind of the same. But
so one of my old roommates had a Taiko Drum Master game for the PlayStation 2. It was like just one drum, and then there were two sticks to hit it with. But they were like the size of breadsticks like you get at the Olive Garden, like the shape of that.
They were huge. Yeah.
And like it was, I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe there's like nuance to how you hit it. Like something about how he was playing it. Like he was better at it than me, but he's also a drummer.
Yeah.
But, I just couldn't get into it. Like usually most music games I can get into pretty quick, and I just could never like pick it up. I tried over and over again.
Yeah. I've never actually played the straight up Taiko Drum Master, but from my understanding it's, they developed Donkey Konga, so it's very close. Like the way it has the same thing. It has like the drums coming by on the, on the conveyor belt looking thing, and you hit them when they go by you.
You hit them with the Olive Garden stick.
Yeah, with the Olive Garden sticks. But now you'll have virtual Olive Garden sticks with your Joy-Con. So I don't know if it's not like, if it's like $20, I'll totally check it out. It's Japan only, but we can totally get it, and it has Nintendo songs on there also. So I'm intrigued by it.
I should go to the Olive Garden because it's right next to the Toys R Us.
I hope maybe that one will close too.
Well, I can see if
you just go to the Olive Garden and smack the drumsticks on the table, and there you go.
Yeah, but you get no like satisfaction for it, or like no recognition. It's not like, hey, you hit
but
like
you get to
99%.
Eat the drumsticks afterward.
Yeah, and you get that cheese grated on it.
Yeah. What you need to do is you need to go to Olive Garden. You need to get some. Whatever you call them, some of those rolls, and you need to like open it and put your Joy-Con in the middle of that. And then you just play with those and play Taiko, and then you'll feel like you're playing the old one with those.
Then run into Toys R Us and just start throwing breadsticks at everybody, because who cares? Who cares? It's closing. What are they going to kick me out? I don't give a damn.
Hey, Toys R Us, fuck you. Here's some breadsticks.
Hey, I got a message for you from Olive Garden. Good riddance. Sick of seeing you out the window. Yeah, they're like right next to each other.
You want to start a fight between two of them? You're like, hey, Olive Garden.
Olive Garden ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I'd rather have Olive Garden go than Toys R Us. That's a news item that we haven't talked about yet. Toys R Us is disappearing, which we hadn't got past the direct yet, but I wanted to mention that. But I love Toys R Us. The very first time that I ever bought an amiibo was at Toys R Us. Because I reserved Smash Brothers at Toys R Us because there was a deal where you got some extra money for it or something. I don't remember. There was some sort of pre-order deal. Anyway, I reserved Smash Brothers, and the first time I ever got amiibo was there, and that's where I bought the Villager amiibo. So I have the very first one. And I saw Marth there, and I totally left it there. I was like, that's so dumb. Like, why did I do that? I was like, I saw Marth, and I'm like, he'll be everywhere. And I'm like, what are you thinking, man? He won't be everywhere. You know? I didn't understand. Like, the amiibo I bought the Villager, I bought Link, I bought Samus, I bought Fox. And that was, those are the ones that I wanted. So those are the ones that I bought. But I didn't realize that, like, you would have been able to find Link and Samus everywhere, and Star Fox as well. So, but yeah,
I'm gonna open an amiibo on the camera again.
That's my Toys R Us experience right there.
This was a Toys R Us exclusive, I think.
Oh, the
bright colored, or it was at first, the bright colored Mario.
Well, that's
Mario.
That one's called like the current, right? Or like the new one, because I have the other one.
Modern color.
Yeah, modern color. Because I think I have the other one where he has the blue shirt and the red pants. There you go. There's another amiibo unboxing.
Yeah, box was all beaten up from the cat, and these are the ones I still see these out all the time. They made a lot of these.
Yeah, but I bought a lot of amiibo at Toys R Us. They had a lot of those like buy two get one free deals. I got some. I think I bought some of the Star Wars Disney Infinities there too. But I get
paid again on Thursday, so I think I'm going to swing by Toys R Us and see what I can do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go over there. Like, I heard they were closing today, so I didn't go. Like, I kind of thought of it, but then I forgot. But I'd like to go see what's left, see if you can get...
Well, we've got a friend of the show, Ed.
Yeah, Ed works there. Well, he said, he was saying that it was going to be...
He was getting a severance package, I think, or I think that's what he said. He's getting treated kind of okay, because he's worked there for so long.
Yeah, from what I remember, what I thought he said, didn't he say that it was closing right before... Midwest Gaming Classic, though? I thought that's what he said. So that would mean that we have like another month.
He had a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah, unless it's, I don't know. I just saw something on Twitter that was like, go now. Everything must go. So, we should check it out, see if there's any, maybe you can, well, probably not. I was like, maybe you can get some cheap memory cards.
There were 800 stores that weren't confirmed that they were closing and that they were confirmed today.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Yeah. It's sad though. Like, I loved Toys R Us when I was a kid. That was like my favorite place to go to.
Toys R Us was like the cheap any day of the week Disneyland for a kid. Like,
oh yeah.
Anytime you go there, it was a special occasion. It was the only time where, imagine after a long day of shopping with your parents, whatever, you go to a place where it's only stuff that you like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I felt the same way when I was a kid. It was great. Yeah, like, I love Toys R Us. And one of the coolest experiences from Toys R Us that our generation will remember, but other generations might not, is the whole, like, pull the piece of paper from the game, take it to the thing in the back with the locked door, and like that's where all the games are. Yeah, like the cage, like, and you would never, and like, you had to like try to look at like the laminated thing, like look at the back, and it's hard to see, like you'd flip it up and it'd be upside down, you wouldn't know it was on there. Yeah, and that was how I bought Metroid. That's how I bought the first Metroid, and it was on sale for like $10, I think. It's in the clearance aisle.
Remember the World of Nintendo?
Oh yeah, that was a spot in the. Oh yeah. There's a spot in Toys R Us, right?
Yeah, that was dedicated.
Yeah, that was like the biggest dedicated Nintendo sales spot in any store. It was the World of Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
And like I can remember seeing that for the first time, thinking, wait a minute, there's a whole world of Nintendo. Like, what is this?
It's a whole world, yeah.
It's a whole world, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it was a sign. It was what it really was, but...
Yeah, but still, yeah. I mean, there is a world. Like, they've created a world. Very much like comics and all that. They all interact with each other. But yeah, no, I've had lots of fun times at Toys R Us. When I was in high school, I used to go there with my friends to look at Star Wars toys and stuff like that. Even when I was a teenager. And even later, I went back there and would look at whatever the new toys are. And that was like always my place to go look for like nephews and nieces and all that. And it was a great place. I'm really going to miss Toys R Us. So
that's where you got your nephews and your nieces?
I bought them there. Yeah, it's Kids R Us. You can get kids there on the other side. Is that one going too? Do you remember Kids R Us?
I think so. I have a feeling it's going.
Yeah. But, Toys R Us, we salute you, NintenDomain Podcast, and we will miss you.
We will miss you.
Gone,
That's where I got my N64.
Yeah, that's where I played.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I played Mario Kart the first time.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 64, I should say.
Yeah. That's where I saw the N64 for the first time ever. I think I've told about it on the podcast before, but I went to go reserve the 64. And there they actually had it on display, and I didn't even know they were going to have it on display, but it was like a month before. And I just, after seeing it in magazines and whatever, and still images, like there it was live in person. And so I tie that memory very tightly to Toys R Us. And that's the reason, probably above all, that I'm sad to see Toys R Us go.
Mm-hmm.
As you said earlier so eloquently.
Yeah.
Did you say again at the top of the show?
Yeah, you remember what you said at the beginning of the show?
What did I say?
That we have
Toys R Us.
We have to grow up now.
Oh, yeah. We all have to grow up now.
We all have to grow up now.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, because there's one of my favorite commercials. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I mean, that's pretty much my whole life. Not growing up and still collecting stuff.
As soon as I heard that Toys R Us closed, I checked my mail and I had to make a mortgage payment.
I thought you were
going to even own a house.
I thought you were going to say, like, once you found out that Toys R Us closed, all of a sudden you were enrolled in law school or something and you decided to be a lawyer. Or like you had to go to business school. You had to be an adult. It's like time to go do not fun things for money. It's like all of a sudden I realized I was in a business class and I'm like, wait, I don't want to do this.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah.
Where are my amiibo? I don't like teapots.
Those are like the two most adult jobs I can think of is business and law. Like the two most boring things in my mind.
Those are real jobs you can get at the job store. Not the Toys R Us is closed. You go to the job store.
Yeah, no, you gotta go to school. You gotta go major in business.
Yeah. Who's the law guy for Toys R Us? What's he gonna go do? He doesn't have a job anymore.
Well, he used to work for Children's Palace, if you remember that place, and KB Toys. They're all gone now. So, he's gonna have to find some other toy store. I don't know.
Yeah, KB. I miss KB. All the toy stores are gone.
KB was always overpriced, though. I mean, the video games were released.
It was like boutique-like.
It was all in the mall. They had to pay the rent at the mall.
Yeah.
So they had to overprice everything.
Yeah, I think it was because of the mall. Yeah, I think you're right. But speaking of stuff closing, there's another place closing in Chicago, which I didn't know about, but I wanted to save it for the show. But People Play Games is closing. Do you remember that place?
Oh, really? That place is closing?
Yeah, the place over by you where you used to live.
Yeah, I used to go there.
Yeah. That's the news. That's the local news. They are closing. I guess they're going to be open. They're going to be open every Friday and Saturday till like around the time of Midwest Gaming Classic, and then they're closing for good. So I'll have to go over there and see if they have any sort of crazy sales or anything.
I liked that store because that was I think that came around like
that was like one of the
2009.
That was like one of the very first like vintage games that I went to, or like used video game stores that I went to in Chicago. I think it might have been the first one I went to.
I think it might have been basically the first one in Chicago.
Yeah.
As far as I know of. And I found out about it because I was walking to work along the same path that I walked for maybe like 4 years at that point.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking by one day and there's this store, People Play Games. Like, whoa, wait a minute. There's like a vintage game store and it's not GameStop or anything else. It's like actually a cool independent store. And so that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And People Play Games. If you're in Chicago, go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. I think they're only going to be open Friday and Saturday now, but like until they close for sure. But I think they said that they were open for 10 years. Like that sounds about right. I mean, could they have started in 2008? Maybe
so.
Or earlier? I mean, yeah, that could have been the right time. I don't know, but I saw it on Twitter, I think. And a friend of the show, Kevin, posted on Facebook as well. Kevin Fair of I Play Games. But I'll have to go check them out before they disappear forever. But yeah, it's a sad bit of news that I wanted to mention on the show there.
That's where I bought my replacement copy of Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh. I don't remember what I bought there, if anything, but I do remember looking around in there. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Direct, Jeremy? What about Smash Brothers? Like, let's just talk about that. Like, how do you feel? If you watched my reaction to it, I don't react very fondly because I basically think at the time I thought it was a port, so I'm kind of like, whatever. But I've started to think that maybe it isn't a port now. I don't know.
I mean, I'm thinking that too, but I mean, it's just Smash Brothers usually is just kind of a slightly improved iteration of the previous version each time. So if it's a new game, like, I guess what's going to be so great in it compared to the last one that just came out a couple years ago? That's why I'm not super excited. I mean, I probably will get excited as they reveal more info. Like, I remember saying the same thing about the Wii U version, and then I got excited about it because of all like the hype, all the stuff that they showed it. So I guess. But for now, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Well, the last version did come out like 5 years ago. The Wii U 3DS version did.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah.
2014 was when it came out.
Was it 2014? I thought it was 2013.
No, I thought
it came out in late 2014 because it was.
Yeah.
Or maybe even early 2015.
Yeah. I thought it was at least 4 or 5 years ago when it came out.
September 13th, 2014.
Okay. So, yeah, it's close to 4 years. A couple months away, I guess.
3.5 years old.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, pretty much exactly.
When was the 3DS version? When did that one come out?
Didn't they come out the same day?
No. 3DS came out before. The 3DS one came out first, which I thought was weird. The 3DS game came out October 3rd, 2014. And, the Wii U version came out in November 21st, 2014. Okay. It's like 3.5 years, I guess. So I guess it's not that old, but I do remember seeing like Sakurai talking in like an interview or something saying that he wasn't going to make any more. So that's like kind of made me wonder about it, but maybe it's some sort of culmination, or maybe it's like they have been working on a version. I don't know. I need to see more about it to be really excited about it, you know?
I have to think that even when the Wii U one was coming out, they knew the Wii U was pretty much a bomb, and they were already probably hard at work on the next version.
Well, I think at the time when it came out for the Wii U, they were expecting it to be the system seller for the Wii U. I think they expected that they're like, once we get Smash Brothers on there, that'll be it. You know, that'll be the one that like brings everybody over. You know, which I guess I think everyone who had a Wii U bought it, but I don't think it sold as much as they thought. But I figured they were like, this is going to be the big one. And it was still kind of early in the system's life, and, you know, like people were pretty hot on it, I guess. And that was the same day the Amiibo came out. The Amiibo came out the same day as the Wii U one. So, like I said, I was at Toys R Us. I bought that, bought the Wii U one, and I bought 4 Amiibo. So, at least one of those is still alive, the Amiibo. But yeah, that seems to be the big thing. A couple of things that we're missing from there, like no Yoshi details on the new Yoshi game.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that. Yeah. And they didn't talk about the Labo. They didn't talk about Labo at all.
Yeah, no Labo. Also, for me, like no Dragon Quest XI release, which I guess that'll probably be its own like Square thing, their own like Square Enix like thing where they announce that, but. That's what I was hoping for. I actually put up a meme on Twitter of like one of the Splatoon guys with a metal slime in its eye instead of the Smash Brothers fire. Cause I was like, where's my Dragon Quest? But that's what I was really hoping for. But all in all, I thought it was a good direct. How do you feel about tennis? Like, I was actually really excited about tennis. That was probably one of my favorite games on there was like tennis and Octopath and the Splatoon DLC.
I don't care too much about the tennis. I guess the RPG elements of it kind of are appealing to me because I like that in golf games I played, most recently Golf Story, but then I have to play tennis.
Oh, you're not a tennis fan?
I've just never really gotten into the tennis games on any console. I've tried. I even played it on the 64, which that version was supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that version was really good.
And I mean, it was fun, but I never could get like into like, I don't know, it just never got, it's deeper than it seems, and I never caught on how it got deeper than it was.
Did you ever play the Game Boy Advance tennis game?
No.
It was like Toadstool Tour? Because that's probably the one to play, I guess, to get an idea of what this one's going to be, because that one had a story mode and RPG elements and all that.
Okay. That was on, you said Game Boy Color?
Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay. It was, there was an RPG tennis game on the Game Boy Advance too?
Yeah, there was. You can actually get them. You can get them both on Wii U on the eShop. Actually, I have both of them. But yeah, there was a Toadstool Tour and whatever the tennis one was called, but there's also an RPG, same thing with tennis. So that game was cool. But I don't know. I think that it might be a big like online esports thing. I think they might be pushing it in that way. So that's why I think it's going to blow up. Like they're probably going to try to push it like ARMS and Splatoon and all that. And you know, there's going to be online tournaments and stuff. So I think it might be a big thing is what I'm thinking. What my thoughts on tennis. But is there anything else in there?
I mean, there's been games before I've had no interest in, and then by the time I might change my mind.
Yeah, it seems like
I feel the same way about tennis. I said it before. It's like, okay, but it has me more intrigued than the previous tennis versions, just because it does seem like they're going to support it and do online tournaments and everything, and having the single player mode in there as well with the story mode. That sounds interesting to me. I don't know. I'll see what they do with it, and if it comes down to like $30, I can do that.
Yeah, it's not till like June, but I'm in. I'm gonna get it. But I have a feeling they'll be pushing it and doing like DLC stuff and all that. So it should be good. Is there anything else that we missed that you want to talk about on the Direct? We don't need to really cover the whole thing because we already did. I just want to know like your particular thoughts. If there's anything stuck out to you. Mm-hmm. Were you upset that there was no Partners in Time remake? That they skipped that one and went straight to Bowser's Story?
I'm a little surprised about it, but then I also immediately thought, like, oh, this is going to be like their new Super Mario Advance. This is going to be their, This, like, Super Mario Advance was all over the place, like, in what orders they came out.
Well, I'd completely...
Like Super Mario Advance 2, Yoshi's Island, or no, what was it? Super Mario Advance 4, Yoshi's Island?
Well, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, I thought it was
Advance 4 was Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was weird, yeah, because Mario Brothers 3 came out last, I think, right? In the advance order.
It did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all that weird stuff. Cause I didn't even remember Partners in Time until I saw the Japanese Direct. And on that one it says like Mario RPG 3 or something 3. And I was like, oh yeah, that is the third one, isn't it? And I was like, oh yeah, Partners in Time. The game was so great that I completely forgot about it. Like I played through all of it.
Yeah, I played all the way through that one.
Yeah, but I was like, man, that one just kind of slipped out of my brain. I totally forgot about it. But whatever. Have you seen there's a lot of 3DS hate out there. I've seen people doing that, like being angry that those games aren't on Twitch. But, all I say to that is, number one, that Bowser's Inside Story, they'd have to rework the whole game to put it on the Switch.
Yeah.
And, same with the WarioWare game. Like it would work better on the 3DS than the Switch. Because the way they're doing is that they're basically putting all of them in there. They're doing like a mega mix version of it. So you need a microphone, you need like a stylus and all that stuff. And there's no microphone on the Switch. You would have to make everything handheld. So that doesn't make sense. And I guess the Luigi stuff is trying to cater to all the people that bought Dark Moon because I guess they did sell a lot of Dark Moon. So that's my excuse for that. And plus a lot of people have 3DSs. But yeah. Did you guys get anything this week? Do you want to do any purchases? I only got one thing. I don't know if you bought anything, Jeremy.
All I bought was I bought a new hard drive, but that's not really. It's just going to be for the YouTube, not for gaming.
Wait, yeah, but you'll be gaming on YouTube, so you'll use it.
Yeah, I'll be able to do a little more gaming with all that extra memory. I'm basically almost quadrupling the amount of memory I have total now, so that's really nice.
Actually, I bought more than one thing. I lied. I bought like three things. So, first game I bought that Peter Molyneux game with my points, so it was free, just because I wanted to have a new game to play on Thursday. For my New Game Thursday Twitch. And, that game's really weird.
How is it? Is it revolutionary?
It's fucking weird, is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really tell. I don't really necessarily not like it. It's just a really strange game. You run along a trail and you can't move outside of this trail. So it's like, it's like an on-rail shooter except you don't shoot anything. And you sort of point at things and like grab stuff as you're walking down this trail. And then you'll like stop at a campsite and you can trade stuff with other people. And you'll get a mission that says like, hey, chop down like 5 trees on this next trail. And then you'll do that. And that's basically the whole game. And you like go down the trail farther. I don't know. It's a weird ass game. And I don't know what they were trying to go for on it. It was kind of like, if you watch my video of it, I'm kind of just like, I don't really get this game, but maybe people like it. I don't know. But you can craft things like Minecraft way, you could do that like, make your own shit, but there's no like real survival. I guess you'll get hungry and you have to feed yourself, but there's not a whole lot of like, I don't think you can get dysentery as far as I know, but it's a strange ass game. It's, didn't really hit, and it didn't really hit for me. I mean, maybe I'll try it later when I get bored or something, but it was kind of like, but I used my gold coins for it, so it was free, so I didn't really feel that bad. I mean, it was one of those experiences that I'm just, I needed to try it out, I guess.
What's that one called again?
The Trail Frontier Challenge.
The Trail Frontier.
I know, it sounds like the lamest game ever, which it kind of is. I also bought Kirby Tilt and Tumble. I bought the Japanese version.
Nice.
And I realized that this game is like kind of really hard to play if you don't have like a Game Boy Color with a Game Boy Light, because it has a gyroscopic sensor in it. It's like one of the first games that did that. And it's meant to be put in the top of your Game Boy. And if you have any of the new Game Boys, the Game Boy Advances where it goes in the bottom, everything's reversed. So it's kind of hard to play the game like that, because the game, you play it by moving it and all that. So basically I had to play it with the original Game Boy Advance and use like a headlamp so I could see it and play it like that. But it's cool. I just kind of really wish I would have got it at the time, on Game Boy Color. Some games like that are kind of hard to do if you don't get it then, because it's made to be played a certain way. But I also bought Kirby Triple Deluxe for this week's topic, just because I've been having Kirby fever all week. If you tune into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fingmater, I've been doing 5 days of Kirby. There's 4 of them up. I have 1 more to put on, which it'll be up by the time you are listening to this, so check it out. Anyway, I did like some of my favorite ones. I did Kirby's Adventure, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Superstar. I don't remember what else, but there's a bunch of them on there. Check them out.
Wow, there you went on almost like you did with Sonic. Pretty similar.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I was kind of trying to do another Sonic thing, except not 7 days of Kirby. I did 5 days of Kirby because I started on Saturday and there was only 5 days left before it came out. So, but yeah, I played a bunch of Kirby on there. But Triple Deluxe is really cool. It's $20. If it was 40, I wouldn't have got it, but it was less. So I was like, why not? And it's good. I mean, I like 3DS. I think the 3DS Kirbys are some of the better ones. Like I said, like Return to Dreamland, Triple Deluxe, or Planet Robobot. Those are all like great games to play if you have 3DS. Is there any other news? Well, actually, there's one thing I wanted to mention before we switch to our topic. Have you been looking at the shop at all, John? Because I did find a hilarious game in there that made me think of you in the eShop.
No, I've been looking, but what game are you talking about?
Well, it's I want to give you a hint, I guess. Are You Bad Enough? That's my hint.
Oh man, is it what am I blanking on this? Bad Dudes?
Yeah, there's a fucking Bad Dudes game on here. Bad Dudes
game?
Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja. Are You Bad Enough?
It's already on the eShop or it's coming out?
It's coming out on the 21st.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's just
an arcade port. Is it another ACA game?
It's not an ACA game, but I'm curious as to what it is. It's like 57 megabytes and it's $10, so you could totally get it if you wanted. I'm really interested as to what it is. It looks like an old arcade port, but it's not the official like arcade archives game.
Got it, yeah.
But
Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja was the original game before it became just Bad Dudes on the NES.
Yeah, but it's
Bad Dudes with Attitude.
Yeah, but it's not Hamster. It's it says Action Arcade Fighter. So yeah, I mean that might be it. It must be it, but it's not the official ACA game. It just says Bad Dudes for Dragon Ninja. So yeah.
Is it a remake or something, or?
It looks like, look at it. It looks like the original game.
Old school. Yeah.
But it's not made by Hamster. It's not ported by Hamster.
Got it.
But yeah, that was one that just kind of came out of nowhere. There's Attack on Titan 2. It's like a crazy anime game that's like sort of like kind of like those Warriors
Spider-Man
games. Well, yeah. I mean, you basically, I watched some videos of it. It's like a $60 game, so I can't bring myself to get it. But yeah, no, I watched some gameplay of it last night just because I was really interested. And yeah, you kind of like shoot around and fight these giant people, and they said it feels a lot like Dynasty Warriors, except with giant titans. You know, so it's the same sort of thing where it's kind of basically like.
It's made by Koei, right?
By Koei Tecmo?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is Koei Tecmo. So yeah, it's pretty much like Dynasty Warriors meets Attack on Titan.
Giant people.
Yeah, it looks like.
I love that show. It's great.
Yeah, I've never seen the show, but it looks crazy.
The show is really good. Yeah.
The game looks crazy, like, cause it's a lot of like, you fly around and, attach yourself to buildings and and there's a lot of blood. Like you cut all these naked titans running around and there's blood everywhere. Looks like a crazy game. Like that's another one of note, I guess. I don't know what the SNK games are for this week, but aside from Kirby, there's not really a whole lot that I saw that stuck out to me, aside from Attack on Titan 2 and Bad Dudes. They are releasing a Shantae and the Pirate Curse. I think that's the Game Boy Advance one. Like they're re-releasing that one. I feel like I already have it, but yeah, that one's 20. Is there any other news you guys want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to explain why I called myself Cord Killer. It wasn't some reference to going all wireless. In Geist, that's the second boss you fight, but then he runs away. But the first video I posted on YouTube, he beat me. Second video, I kill him. And I really kill him. So check it out if you want to see me kill Cord.
Oh, his name is Cord?
Yeah.
That's why you're the Cord Killer. Yeah, check that out on our YouTube channel. It'll be some Geist.
I'm going to post that. It'll be up by the time this is posted.
All right, cool. We'll be right back then. So we have Janet here again this week to talk about Kirby.
Hey guys.
Which is
Hey Janet.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
I wanted to, Kirby's coming out this Friday, the new Kirby Star Allies game. And I kind of just wanted to, wanted to have somebody on who's a pro Kirby. I mean, I'm pro Kirby too. I think Jeremy is as well. It's unfortunate John can't be here right now. He's working late because he's not necessarily anti-Kirby, but he only played Kirby 1, so he thinks it's too easy, which that game is kind of easy. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool to have you on here for something that you like,
At last.
Yeah. What's, I don't know, where do you guys want to start? Like, why don't we do this? What's like your first experience with Kirby? You go first?
Yeah, sure thing. I think it's a good place to start. For me, my first experience with Kirby was on the Game Boy. Yeah, it was one of the first video games I can really remember playing. And yeah, it was great. I just kind of have, that iconic memory of like fighting the tree and all of that stuff. And like, playing in black and white where Kirby like is white, even though obviously we know him today as being pink. And yeah, I just remember it being a lot of fun. Like it's a pretty intuitive platformer. And it was probably like one of my first experiences with a platformer that felt like of both quality and like a level of approachableness, which isn't something that I always got from my games growing up. Flashbacks to Donkey Kong, like it's hard to see and hard to play because it's very difficult. So yeah, I remember that it's just being like really crisp. I think the fact that it was so like cartoony really helped with that, especially on the older systems because it just kind of like, it's really easy to, they're very basic shapes, right? That's kind of why Kirby's even designed this way. Like he's just a little circle, like, easy to draw. That was the whole point of his design. So yeah, that was my first memory of Kirby and it was a really positive experience and I feel like it kind of set the tone for what Kirby's always been for me, which is, a really fun time. Kirby games have never been like, my games of the year, but they're always like really positive, fun, quirky experiences.
And Kirby, I was gonna say Kirby was fully white in that first one. Like if you look at the front cover of the very first Kirby,
yeah.
He is completely white, which I always think looks weird. But and wasn't he originally designed to be like a floating smiley face, like pretty much, like was kind of the idea.
Didn't they call him a marshmallow? Like at some point that he was like a marshmallow ball.
Yeah. I thought the original, I felt like I heard somewhere that Hal's original design for it was just basically like, it's just basically like a smiley face, with a body around it and all that. But, yeah, I think that most of our, first experiences was with that very first, Kirby. Did you play it on, what kind of Game Boy did you play it on? Did you play it on like the original brick or like, one of the pockets or like an Advance or?
I played it on the Pocket. It's funny because like as a kid, I remember the brick one being huge, like just ginormous. And then when I saw it like not too long ago in my adult life, I'm like, oh, it is larger, but it's not, it's really not even that big, but like in my child's mind, I swear to God, I thought it was as big as like the carrying case that it comes in, like in my brain, that's how large it was, but in reality, it's actually not that big. I played it on the Pocket.
Yeah, I have mine on my shelf here.
It's still pretty big.
It's still pretty huge.
Yeah, like it is, but it's
the
not
size
like,
of my hand.
Cause I was like 5, so I was like, oh, it's, it's like huge, but, Pocket for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever actually owned the game, but I remember playing it, and it's, it was an original Game Boy game, so it's pretty short. You can beat the game in an hour, probably at the most. And I remember playing it all the way through, and I remember it being kind of easy, but I was still like, oh, this is fun for what it is, I like King DDD and all that at the end, like when you fight him in the ring. I thought that was cool. But I had to play it on the first Game Boy that was all like green on green, and it was really hard to see. And I did have a Game Boy Light that you put on top of it, so you kind of see it better. But I used to have this weird thing that like, it was like, it like opened from the front and it had like 2 speakers and like a big like magnifying lens and like another light and like this thing that you put on the buttons where the buttons stick out further and there's like a joystick.
Oh, I think I've seen this before. It's kind of like,
so
it's
ridiculous.
Like way bigger than the system itself, right? It's almost like you like put your system inside of it and it has like all these kind of enhancements to it.
Yeah, there's like 2 things. There's like a thing that you put on the front that has the 2 speakers that open up, and then there's a magnifying thing that you pull out that makes the picture bigger. And then there's a light inside of that, and there's also another plastic thing that you put over the buttons. It was like the dumbest thing ever, but I got it for Christmas one year, and I played the crap out of it, so it's pretty hilarious. I wish I could remember what it was called, but
nice. And
I'm sure I have it somewhere. But yeah, that was my first Kirby experience as well. I think that was probably all of ours. The most memorable one for me though was a Superstar when Jeremy and I played that one together. Because I had never played that one. That's the one that made me be like, oh, I really love Kirby. What did you got, Jeremy?
Yeah, you called me out. So we got a Game Boy and a Game Gear at the same time. Like my dad bought them at a pawn shop or something, and he gave them to us for my birthday or Christmas. I don't know. It was me and my brother were sharing them, but I remember like thinking the Game Gear was the coolest and everyone saying the Game Gear was the best, but I ended up liking the Game Boy better. The games were better, and the first game I ever beat on Game Boy was Kirby, because we got that. We didn't have Mario Land, so that was, I think, the second game I beat, but Kirby was definitely the first, and I felt pretty good. I beat a game on the Game Boy, but it's really easy. But the music, I remember the music was something that really stuck out to me. Like, it's still, there's a lot of nostalgia when I hear the doo-doo-doo, like that sound, the extra life sound. And then, I remember getting really hungry when he was like eating hot dogs and stuff. I'd be like, hot dog, some cotton candy. That looks really good.
Yeah, he's I don't know if he actually has teeth, but if he did, they'd be like all gross and brown and rotten.
But there's some pretty
he eats a lot of
scary
shit.
stuff if you look on the internet where people have rendered Kirby realistically.
I was just about to say the fan art is gets dark really quickly.
I just the one that I think of is the one like where he takes his shoes off and his feet are like really huge.
Oh yeah, that one's awful.
Seen that one? Yeah, he's just this big round flesh thing with feet, and yeah, he's cute though. Seriously, I mean, I always figured the shoes aren't even really attached to him. They're kind of just there.
Yeah, kind of like a chubby Rayman, basically.
Oh yeah, with his detached arms and feet and all that.
So he has elbows in Star Allies, like tiny little elbows, according to some of like the art from the game. It's very subtle, but
no, I played the demo twice and I didn't look for elbows. I should have, but
just in some of the art. So maybe not like in how the game like play actually goes, but like the art for him, like there's like a picture where he's kind of like with his I guess shoulders in a diagonal position, and he has like a little tiny elbow. So I don't know if they really thought that one through, but it's there.
Yeah,
and I saw it from like a comic, like a fan comic that someone did, where they're like, he's just gonna keep becoming like more limbs until it's like really gross.
Until he's like a photorealistic Kirby when they get to like 4K Kirby.
It's probably so he can elbow drop Swole King DDD.
Oh yeah,
and he's like way too
because Day-Day's all
OP. Yeah,
he's all huge.
And like I know Kirby's easy, but I low-key almost died. I'm willing to admit that on this podcast tonight. And it was me and my brother, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, like getting a little too close to death here. Gonna let the CPUs take this one off.
I found it interesting because a lot of people have been saying like, oh no, it's too easy, like the computer fights for you. And I'm like, it's been doing that for a really long time. Like in Kirby Superstar, they fight for you also. Like it's the same sort of thing. If you're not paying attention, they might beat the bad guy for you. When you get really farther into the game, they don't do that. But towards the beginning, they might, because you could do the same thing where you could make a buddy to go along with you, and now you can make 4 of them, or make 3 of them. So, what's the Kirby that you have there? The stuffed one. Is it the angry Kirby with the down eyebrows?
Yeah, it's Angry Kirby. We determined this is a beetle, right? Like a beetle horn hat thing going on.
Yeah. I forget
this
which
is the
one.
only Kirby plush I own right now, though I want to get more. I'm kind of sad this is the Angry Kirby instead of like Happy Cute Kirby, but it's still cute because, I mean, it's Kirby, so it works out. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite Nintendo characters. It's like, I think other than like, thinking of Mario, who, I mean, I like his games, but I wouldn't say I really like him in that way, right? I have like a Yoshi, but I don't have like a Mario because like he's not that exciting to look at. But both in cuteness, but also nostalgia, for the games, definitely like Kirby and Yoshi are kind of like fundamental for my like Nintendo collection. But yeah.
What was, I said it earlier, but what was the Kirby game that like basically made you like a fan? Like I know the first one was your first one, but what was the one that was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Because that first one was kind of like so quick for me. It was like such a breeze, as they say in the Superstar. It was like a spring breeze. But it just, I kind of like went right through it and I was like, oh, that was fun. That was kind of too easy, but that was fun. But then later when I played Superstar, I was like, oh, he can do all this other shit. That's cool. Like what was the one that like made you think, oh yeah, no, I like Kirby. Like really.
I think it was kind of honestly like pretty immediate for me. Like I love platformers and I'm really drawn to cute characters like in general. And I would say Kirby like is probably the cutest Nintendo character. I think even cuter than Pikachu. So that's awesome. And then also the thing I really love about Kirby games, with the capture mechanics and things like that, in terms of abilities, the capture ability mechanic. If you think capture, you think of just Odyssey. But I just love how like Kirby just becomes so many things and is so like transformative. And I think that's so intriguing in terms of gameplay, but also just like so aesthetically pleasing. It's like, oh, now he's like has flames, now he has like an ice sword, now he's like this other thing. And I loved how he could become like all these different things all the time. And then also like I thought it was really cool how like visually they have like he doesn't just have like a new ability, he also has like a new look to him. Like I think that's one of the coolest things about like kind of going back to the Yoshi Kirby comparison. Like when Yoshi like gets, you know, weird and out there and becomes a helicopter and stuff, it's just like, oh, everything's getting crazy. And I really love that. It's just genuinely fun. So I'd say from the get-go, the weird thing about me is like I love Kirby, but I actually haven't played like as many of the games as you would think. Like I missed a lot of like the core hits. I'd say my favorite Kirby game just from the ones I've played is the one on the NES, which I actually didn't play until I got the mini NES or the Nintendo Classic Edition.
That one's actually hard,
but
I think.
Yeah, I played through that whole bit and I loved it. That was my favorite one just because I felt like it was so like dynamic and also had a little bit of challenge to it. Like that final boss was not a joke, in that game.
Oh, no.
And yeah, other than that, I've played just a couple random ones here and there. I did Mass Attack on the DS. I missed Robobot just because I ended up not picking it up and the Switch came out. And I played Rainbow Curse on the Wii U, which, you know, wasn't my favorite experience ever because after a while the drawing gets a little tedious. But like, I still really enjoyed it because every game is just so different that I feel like, you know, my experience might be anywhere between like, you know, maybe like a 7 to an 8.5, but like I'm still having fun either way. And that's always been the case for me with Kirby games. So yeah, it was pretty immediate that I just love the design and how like the aesthetics lend themselves so well to the gameplay. Like it's also seamless that Kirby just always stuck out to me as a favorite.
I really liked the clay one, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. That was did you ever play the Canvas Curse, the one before that on DS?
I did not play Canvas Curse.
That was like the first one.
But I saw some of the gameplay and yeah, it's very similar with the kind of drawing of the lines.
Yeah, I mentioned it on my stream just because I felt like they kind of came out at sort of the same time. Cause like Canvas Curse was like one of the very first like DS games that I liked because it was like the very beginning of the DS. And like it was at the time with like I had just gotten the system, there wasn't a whole lot of games out, but I really wanted to play the DS. And Canvas Curse was the first one that I felt like a whole game, and it wasn't just a demo, you know, because a lot of the early stuff was demos. And I really liked it because of that. And I kind of felt the same way when the Wii U one came around, because there wasn't a whole lot of games out, and I was like, oh, but there's this Kirby one, you know, and it was really, really fun. And the like clay animation in that game looks so fucking good. Like, I don't know if when the last time was you played it, but I just played it again.
Yeah, it was only like a year or two ago that I played it, actually.
Yeah,
it's pretty recent.
I just played it last night, and I was like, holy shit, like this animation looks so good. Except for, unfortunately, you have to watch the gamepad the whole time. Like, you can't watch it on the TV, which looks better, because all of it you play it on the gamepad, so. But it looks so good. Like, I really wish they would do another clay anything. Like, it's just the way, the little clay characters in that look so fucking amazing that it's like.
Yeah, the yarn, even though I didn't own a Wii, actually, I owned a Wii U. I didn't own the Wii on principle because I didn't like it. But like the yarn Kirby also was like really pleasing in terms of the visuals. Yeah. So, yeah, Kirby literally and figuratively wears many hats.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's, like you're saying, there's the core ones, and there's also the ones like Mass Attack and, or like more like the block puzzle one or whatever. They're like completely out there.
Yeah.
They're kind of,
Kirby Golf. Like it just goes crazy.
Yeah, Kirby's Dream Course is a kind of a sleeper hit. It's hard, but it's really fun, and it's got Kirby in it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet, but I have a friend that like loves that. I think it's the only Kirby game she's played, and she's like, it's so good.
Wow.
So
yeah,
I need to get around.
SNES Classic.
Yeah, I have the NES and the SNES Classic, cause they're adorable, so I have to get both of them. And now at this point it's a compulsion, so I hope they don't come up with anything else, cause I don't want to have to buy it.
Yeah, I get angry as soon as I find out they're coming out, because I think about the frustration I'm gonna have in the future, because I have to have it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's Kirby Golf is on the Super Nintendo Classic,
right?
So you can play it on there.
Yeah, because it's there. I just haven't played it yet. But yeah, I'm mainly going through all the Kirby games for all the Kirby and Yoshi games on those consoles, and then I'll make my way around to everything else.
Did you play Superstar?
I did not play Superstar.
Because that one you should play. Because that was, like I said, that was the one that like drew me around to Kirby when I realized that there was a lot more, because there's like 8 games on that. Plus, I remember buying that. I think I bought that with you, Jeremy, or we played through it together. I know we played through it together, but I don't know if we bought it, if I bought it with you or if I already had it or whatever. Because I know I got it used. Like, I didn't get it when it came out, but it's a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of cool games and stuff on there.
Yeah, I think you must have bought it used, and then I had it in whenever it first came out, late junior high, early high school. My brother and I played the crap out of that game, like. because you could play 2-player on most of them. I think the Great Cave Offensive, and there's another one that was 1-player. Milky Way Wishes, I think it was only 1-player, but a lot of them you could play 2-player. Or no, Milky Way Wishes was 2-player.
Yeah, I think you can do all of them. Milky Way is just the one you
can't.
Not
great. You can't do it in Great Cave Offensive. That's only 1-player.
You can't? I thought that. No, you can. You can do 2-player because.
Are you sure?
Great Cave Offensive is a lot easier if you do it with 2 players. Because I tried to do it on the Virtual Console because it was so hard that I tried to just put another controller in to do it, but I couldn't get very far. I think you can do both.
Oh, we'll have to go back and check. But yeah, I remember we beat Milky Way Wishes by one of us was the Rock. And we would just keep turning into the Rock. That way we could keep respawning. If we died on the final boss, we could just keep respawning if one person stayed the stone the whole time. So we'd take turns who was the stone because it was boring
Smart.
to do the stone.
Do you think, the stone is probably the most boring one. What game do you think was the one that made you love Kirby, Jeremy? If it wasn't the first one.
Well, it probably was the first one, but yeah, Kirby Superstar was definitely, that was kind of, we didn't even know. I wasn't following any kind of magazines or anything, so I didn't even know it was coming out. It just was at the rental store one day. We're like, what's this? It's another Kirby game, and just kind of pretty surprised when we popped it in and it was full of all these games. There's so many games. It was like a value pack.
Classic. When's the last time you had that experience? Going into somewhere and picking up a game you didn't know anything about and then taking it home?
Sadly, it hasn't happened since I was a child.
Unless,
Once I got internet access, I was always trying to look up all the games and stuff.
Yeah, well now they're expensive that it's kind of it's hard to take a chance, I guess. Even though some of the cheap indies you take a chance on,
Well, my parents would let us rent 1 game a weekend if we were good, and so that was one that we rented and then played it a lot and then ended up re-renting it a couple of times, and then eventually my parents were like, let's just buy it. You guys keep renting it, and it's probably cheaper to buy it. And we got it used, but $10 or $20, it was cheap. But it's one of the games probably we played the most on our Super Nintendo because it was 2 players and it had 8 games on it. I'm looking at a screenshot of it right now.
Yeah, and that one was re-released on DS also, right? On Nintendo DS. There's a Kirby Ultra Superstar or something.
And the Wii, they released it as a full, an actual.
Oh yeah, there was
you could buy for the Wii.
It was the Kirby. Was it 25th anniversary something?
20th anniversary, yeah.
It was they
had a couple of the hit games in there.
Yeah, it was like when they re-released the Super Mario All-Stars, in a box. It was kind of like that, except it had, it wasn't just one ROM. It was better than the Mario All-Stars one. But it was a similar sort of celebration thing for it. I feel like Kirby Superstar is a really good introductory game, I guess. If you played the first Kirby and thought it was too easy or too short or whatever, that one's great because it starts with that Game Boy one. You play through it all as Spring Breeze, and then from there you go to a Dynabird, and then the Meta Knight thing with the ship and all that. And it seems to get cooler and cooler the farther you get into it, I think. And that one's one you should definitely play on the Super Nintendo Classic.
What's really cool is once you do Milky Way Wishes, you no longer copy abilities. All the abilities you have to find.
Yeah, you collect them. Yeah.
But once you have them, you can use them at any time. You can activate the ability. So it kind of that's why my brother and I were able to be invincible because we could keep changing who we were and respawning. And so, if you're playing 2 players, might as well. Yeah. Might as well cheat the system, but
yeah, for sure.
It's kind of fun. I think the laser one was my favorite, or no, it's the flame guy that flies around and you can charge his flame. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He's a blue flame. That was my favorite. So once I got that, I was stoked, and that's the character I was most of the time.
For sure.
And then if you were the second player, you could fly. You can just float wherever you want to go.
Cool.
As that character.
I use the NES equivalent on there a lot, the Yo-Yo. He basically looks just like Ness from Earthbound. I don't know if Earthbound was out yet or not when that came out, but he totally looks like Ness.
Yeah, it was out before. I think Superstar came out in 96. It was kind of a late release.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like I said, I didn't play it until after it was released. So, but yeah, he was a good character to play as on there. Aside from the Beetle one, which I liked him a lot. I think I used the Beetle one on Return to Dreamland, which is the Wii one, which you can get on Wii U, the Virtual Console, which is how I got it because it's way more expensive to buy as the Wii game. I think it's $60 or something like that.
I remember being really impressed with the one on the 64 too. I probably played it shortly after the Superstar at my friend's house, and I think we rented that one too and played through it pretty quick. It's pretty easy, but it was a lot of fun. It looked good. It was one of my first 2.5D games that I played.
Yeah, I liked how you could combine like a lot of the powers in that. And I forget how you do it. I think it's like the clay power and the laser power or whatever, but you can make a lightsaber. Like you can make a double-sided lightsaber. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever because it came out like, around the time of me like being super Star Wars boy and all that. So I was like, oh my god, there's a lightsaber in Kirby. Like, it's so fucking cool. And this was like pre-Smash Brothers probably, right? Like before they put the lightsaber in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. That was another one that's like, it's not that long. It was like a rental and I beat it over a weekend, but I was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun, I feel like every Kirby game I've played is like, I've been pleasantly surprised in the end. Like I always expect it to be, I don't know, for a while there I didn't expect a whole lot and then I'd be like, oh, this is actually good. And now I just kind of realize that they're all good and I should just stop downplaying them, I guess.
I think it's kind of people's like nature when it comes to Kirby and downplay it. Like even me, like I really like Kirby, but I'm like, okay, this is gonna, like I always go in expecting like not like, a 10 or like maybe not even like a 9, but like a really, really like fun 8.
Sure.
And so usually I get a little bit more than that just because like what I think it makes sense for why our expectations are always exceeded. They're not like super high. We know kind of what a Kirby game involves, but then like obviously with each new iteration of Kirby, like the developers are thinking of like new things that we're not thinking of. So like, they have surprises up their sleeve that we can't really comprehend. So then when we experience them, they're always like surprising and joyful and like, oh, look, I didn't think this would be in here or that I'd have like this fun moment in the game, which, obviously we wouldn't because we didn't make it. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the cycle of how Kirby games work in terms of like, you get it, you play it, and then you're like, oh, I'm having more fun than I thought I was. This is awesome. And then it's over usually pretty quickly, and then you're like, yeah, that was good.
Oh, cool. What's your favorite Kirby game, John?
My favorite Kirby game. Oh, wow. Hi, Jen. How you doing?
What's going on with that Mario in the background? Are we just going to act like that's not there?
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is my Mario from my sister. She gave that to me for my birthday like 2 years ago.
He's all decked out.
I got him all decked up. Yeah, I got him drinking his Mario soda. It's out of frame. There it is.
Yeah.
So with his 8-bit sunglasses, he's pretty cool.
He's living the life that I want to live. He's just all out on a Wednesday night. Like he doesn't have work tomorrow. Like he's just chilling.
Doesn't he have?
He's Mario,
He's freelance. He's a plumber.
Let's say, isn't he wearing like an E3 pass?
Contractor.
He's got his like E3
Anyway,
pass.
Totally interrupted you. What's your what's your first experience with Kirby / favorite Kirby?
So John just beamed in from Popstar.
So
he flew in on a star here.
My favorite Kirby game. I don't know. It's hard for me because I generally don't like Kirby. I hate to maybe bring the show down with that, but I see your lovely Kirby there. It's very nice. It's persuading me to maybe like Kirby a little bit more. I don't know.
He's kind of pissed off in this plush, but yeah.
He's very angry. Yeah.
He's mad. He's mad at me. See, I tried the first one. I can remember when I was 10, my sister got it for Christmas on Game Boy, and I was all ready for like the next Mario or whatever. The commercials had hyped it up and everything. And then I realized you can just fly over the first level. And from there on, even at 10 years old, I was like, man, this is too easy. So I just kind of fell off of Kirby right from the beginning. I never really got onto it.
Yeah, that's what I gave you a hard time for it before, but saying that you don't like it because of the very, very first Kirby, I think is like really doing a disservice to Kirby and himself. Because I think that, you have an SNES Classic, but I don't think you have a TV to play it on, but you really need to play Kirby Superstar because I think that's the game that'll turn around any sort of non-Kirby person to be like, oh hey, this game's really freaking cool because it just like kind of ramps up. Like it starts, I was saying earlier, like, it has like its own intro thing where it starts as that Game Boy game that maybe you like, maybe you didn't like, but then it gets crazier from there. It's like, oh, now this Dynablade's weirder and then this and blah, 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 And then eventually you're like flying through space or there's like shooter levels and stuff and it's like super cool. It's,
maybe I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I recommend that one. And you can beat it in like 4 hours. It's not that long. It's not a whole lot of, dedication, but you'll still be glad that you did it,
I'll try it. And I'm open to liking Kirby. I downloaded the demo and everything and I thought it was okay. It's just, again, it was too easy for me.
Yeah. I don't think the demo really does the justice to the game. Like I already pre-purchased it. I already bought it. So I'll have it downloaded tomorrow, but it's kind of like I was saying earlier, pretty much every Kirby I got, I've expected less, and then I've been pleasantly surprised, like in a good way by it. So this is probably the first Kirby game I think I've ever bought on release. So I'm going to be like, hey, why not?
Yeah, me too, I think, actually. So be exciting.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I'm like, I want a new game for the Switch, and there's not a whole lot coming out, like, indies-wise that I was interested in. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go for Kirby. For Starlight Allies. Plus I know that, I'm sure you're getting it for the, co-op, right, Janet? Like for the play with your brother and all that, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then also, like, I wasn't originally planning on playing a co-op. Like, I knew that you could play it with, like, more people, but I kind of, I don't know how you guys are with how often you even co-op games, like, to their entirety with someone, but it's kind of like, it's this big, like, investment of, like, time and things and, like, emotions, it's like, okay, now I can only play this. It's kind of like when you watch a Netflix show with someone.
Yeah. No,
like, now I can't watch episode 3 because you're not here and you only saw 2. It's kind of like that almost.
That's why you do 2 saves.
You have to watch it twice if you do sneak.
Yeah, you gotta double up and then max surprise. Like, it's just, it's weird. So, and then we already have like our own backlog. I live with my brother for people that don't know. He's not just coming over to play games like every day or something. We already have this big backlog of like co-op games that we're supposed to do together that we haven't finished yet. So I wasn't about to take this on either, but I actually think this game specifically lends itself best to being played with like 2 or more people. In part because it is like, all Kirby games are easy. This one, at least from what the demo showed, is like on the easier end of that. And like, since like Kirby's already really easy, it's kind of like when you have like something that's sweet and you're like, oh, now it's too sweet. It's like there's that line where it goes from like, to the point where it's almost unbearable. I don't think Kirby goes that far in terms of being easy, in my opinion, just because like I know a lot of people are complaining that like, oh, the CPUs can just do everything for you. And they can, but only if you let them. So like, yeah, if you're going to be lazy and just stand there, the game can technically play itself. And, I can see why that might be unappealing to someone, to an extent, but like, all right, then step it up. Like, you're like, oh man, the group members will just do the project for me. It's like, well, not if you're not a piece of garbage. Like, go do something then, like you can, the CPUs are kind of on autopilot, like the same way, like they're a little smarter than like a pet AI from like an older game, but like, they'll do as much as you let them to an extent. But kind of for that reason, I think it's best with like another person, because then that kind of downplays like the amount that it feels that the game's playing itself, because now it's like, you and an actual person in real life, and you can kind of like, I know even just playing the demo with my brother, because he did it like once on his own and then once with me, at both the versions of like the difficulties, that the demo offered, which was like, I don't know, they had like 2 like difficulties, and they were like slightly different like levels that they had you play or something. But like even that part was interesting because we were kind of like strategizing, like, okay, who do we want kind of in our party or whatever, and like, how do we want to like solve this little puzzle or get this little area or whatever we were doing. And I thought that was kind of cool because it adds like a layer of like strategy to it. So I like how kind of like, and with any classic like game that's on the too easy scale, like the easiest way to ramp it up is to say, okay, I'm going to go harder for like completionist territory. So like, let me try to get a few more like of the collectibles or collect all of like kind of whatever the level has to offer. And that's an easy way to make any kind of maybe too easy Nintendo game a bit harder. And unlike, some other games, I feel like being more completionist-y with a game like Kirby, or even like bringing back to the Yoshi comparison, like it feels a lot more enriching because there's like not a whole lot. There's still level based, so like the collectibles don't get crazy, right? It's not like Odyssey going for all the coins and all the like where it's overwhelming and just feels like kind of creating chores for yourself. Like I actually do get some rewards out of like solving little puzzles that I don't really need to solve. And especially in this game because it has a lot of like cool ability puzzle things. Like even in the demo, it was like, okay, there's water here, and like I think we had thought of like 2 ways to fix it. One was like we could put a rock or something there was one idea, but I was like, I'm gonna just freeze it, and then like that worked too. Like so it was kind of cool. I mean, obviously it's pretty basic stuff. Like of course you're gonna need fire to explode the bomb. Like it's not super hard to figure out. But it still is a little bit satisfying, and I'm sure it'll kind of build as the abilities build and as you can kind of like combine things. Like you can have like at one point I had like a sword and then I like hit it with ice and it's an ice sword. So kind of like the lightsaber thing you were mentioning earlier, Trey. Yeah. So like, so yeah, I think it has like, it is simple, in its packaging and in like its combat, but I think there's complexity in the nuances, and I feel like there always is complexity in the nuances of Kirby, and that's kind of what I appreciate from the franchise in general. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some reviews out now for Star Allies, and I've looked into them a little bit, and there is like a challenge mode that you can do where you up the difficulty on it. So if you do want it to be harder, you can do that. And I totally agree with you. There is Kirby, you can kind of like make it harder if you want to. Like say you want to play through the game and not fly. Like, you could do that and just say you're not going to do it and make the game harder, or you could be like in Kirby Superstar where you can make a friend. You don't have to do that. You could play it all by yourself. I don't think you can do that in this because there's switches that you have to switch with multiple characters, but I was wondering, it's like, what if you just don't make a guy and just play through it as Kirby, But you can do stuff like that where you kind of try to make it harder, and the same sort of thing, like not standing around and letting your characters do the work. But if it's anything like Superstar, like the harder the bosses you get, like your guy will die. Like if you let your dude just fight the other guy, he'll get fucking killed. And then he'll be gone, and you'll just be the only one there, Like I know I was dealing with that in Milky Way Wishes for Superstar for sure, where I would just totally lose the guy. And on the thing, like a Kirby Adventure, that game is incredibly hard. Like I think, like the NES one is probably like the hardest one that I think I've played. So for anyone who says it isn't,
I'm like, it's pretty challenging. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do that again. I mean, I do, but not really.
Yeah, I just played it a couple days ago on my NES Classic, and like the fucking Sun and Moon boss was killing me. Like where it keeps switching from one to another. Like I had a really hard time with that. And I don't know if I ever actually fully beat it because I think I did get stuck at the very end at King Day. So there's definitely challenge to be had in the Kirby games. And I don't know if Star Allies is necessarily the best one to start off with. I guess if you're not into Kirby, but I say that everybody should at least play Superstar for sure. Because there's a lot of stuff to do on that. What is you guys' favorite, I know Jeremy kind of touched on this, but what's your favorite, copy ability or transformation of Kirby that you can think of offhand? You can say the beetle if you don't know.
I don't think, yeah, right. I don't know. He becomes so many things, it's hard to keep track of it. I guess it's probably one of the NES ones, but now I'm trying to remember exactly what they are. I can't really think of them, so I'm just gonna use a cop-out answer and just go from the Star Allies demo and kind of keep it relevant. Any of the stuff that involves nature elements I think is fun, like fire and ice or anything like that. Oh, I think though, kind of once again, bring it back to Star Allies, probably my favorite thing in Star Allies was when you can become basically the curling thing, the little
the friend, was it the friend circle?
No, it's a literal, how when you do curling, there's
I did that, yep.
The thing?
Oh, yeah,
What is
the
name of the thing?
Yeah,
smash into the wall.
The ice weight thing.
What is that thing called?
Where you sweep in front of it. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is. It has a handle on it.
Is it a puck? Yeah. It's I like being in the puck because you can just crash into everything. And then, and I love there's something so satisfying about rolling through a series of enemies or taking a rock and just rolling through them. I did a bunch of recording even from the demo because I'm lame. And that was definitely moments that I would record when I just zoom down the hill and stuff. So, I would say those are fun.
It's either called a stone or a rock. I just looked up the internet.
I think it's a stone.
Yeah. The curling thing is
called a stone in Canada. It's sometimes called a rock in other territories.
Yeah. I think bringing curling into any game is pretty awesome and pretty hilarious. I mean, especially if you've ever played any of those old Winter Olympics games where there was some Super Nintendo game I played where curling was one of the most fun games to play on there of all the mini games. But
they probably have curling in one of the Mario and Sonic games, don't they?
Yeah.
They have to.
Probably.
They have to. It's a Winter Olympics thing.
Curling's definitely a sleeper hit.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite ones from Superstar is the microphone. You don't really get it for that long, but I just love the noises that Kirby makes. The microphone is in Kirby's Adventure as well, except he'll only make one noise. He just is meh, but in the Super Nintendo one, for every, you yell through a megaphone first, and then and what's the second one is him on a microphone, and the other one he has a guitar or something. I know the last one is he goes
yeah, he goes through a few different animations, but it's the same ability.
Yeah, but he'll say a different thing every time, and it kills everybody on the screen. That's always a fun one. Especially the Super Nintendo one. I'll have to put the noise of him making those noise on here somewhere.
I just thought of another one I really like, the wheel.
Oh yeah, the wheel.
Really cool.
Yeah, the wheel's great. Yeah, because the same thing with doing the slant with the rock. You take the wheel and just go really fast from one thing to another. That's always
it's kind of fun to fight a boss that's on a platform and you're on the wheel and you just got to make sure you don't roll off the edge and you just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, and I mentioned before I really like the yo-yo one from Superstar because it kind of plays a little bit like NES. You can throw the yo-yo forward, or you can do an up move also. And there's what was really cool about Superstar is all the different formations, and a lot of Kirby's games do this. They all kind of have Smash Brothers moves almost, where it's up and B is something, and or forward and Y or down and Y. There's all different moves that you can do. And some of them have holds where you can grab them and throw them, or take the yo-yo and latch it onto them, whatever. And that's cool. The different moves you can do. Like the same with like the suplex. There's like a suplex move that you can do where you just like grab them and start like either throw them down or throw them behind you or whatever. Those are always cool. But what's you guys' favorite sub game to Kirby, if you can think of one? Those are my favorite Kirbys are always the ones that have extra shit to do on there that you unlock as you go.
I really like the claw machine game. I think that was in the Super Nintendo, or that was on the one on the Nintendo first.
Yeah, it's on the NES one for sure. I know that. Yeah,
that was a pretty fun game.
If you, I know I mentioned it before in the show, but if you guys haven't played Part-Time UFO, the phone game, you should totally play that game because the UFO that's in that crane game is like in the iPhone game. It's a HAL game. They made it for the phone, but the little animation in the UFO is the same thing that's in that Kirby crane game also that I saw. The one that I really like, I wish I could remember what the name of it is. I know you said you had played Mass Attack, right, Janet? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the RPG game that you get on there, like when you unlock? It's called.
I don't remember offhand.
It's called Kirby Quest, is what it's called. Like that was one of my favorite ones. That was actually the whole reason I bought Mass Attack was when I heard that there was like a kind of a Kirby RPG on there. I was like, oh, that's cool. But it basically consists of like different battles that you do with different guys, and you'll have like your different characters will come together for you on that, but. It's really cool. There's also there's one in the Wii one in Return to Dreamland that's kind of like Super Scope 6. It's called like Kirby Scope, and you like shoot these giant robots like with the Wii mode and the with the pointer control and all that, and that one's really fun. Like I had a good time with that. If you guys watch the YouTube channel, you can see I played through that on the Wii one. But those are two that I thought really stuck out. Plus there's like a rhythm one for Triple Deluxe. It's called like a Day Day's Drums, where like you jump from like one drum to another, and depending on when you hit the A button to jump, he'll jump higher or lower, and you try to get all these coins without getting hit. Like that one's really fun too. But it's always cool to see what little extras they stick on there for the Kirby games, because like I said, those are always my favorites, the ones that have like really cool extra games on there. And I know like some of the extras, like they made like a whole game for that drum one, and they made another whole game for like the top down 3D one. I forget what that was called, but that was on Robobot. But they released like a whole another version of that for like $8 with more levels. So some of them actually become their own things and all that, which is pretty cool.
There was the one in Superstar that was pretty cool. Super simple, but ended up being a 1-2 switch. It's the one where you have to
quick draw one?
Yeah,
quick draw. You're right. Because you already took the crane machine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. But yeah, I think it's cool how like you can kind of, and I don't know how often it's like intentional. Probably pretty often if I had to guess, but like there's so many threads of Nintendo history that you can see like throughout their franchises. Like even like, this is kind of getting off topic, but like, the capture mechanic in like Odyssey, like with like wearing the hat and everything, it kind of just reminded me of like if you played Mario 64 on the DS, like you started off as actually like Yoshi in the Mario hat, like, and then when you got hit, you weren't Mario anymore. It was very odd and not a very pleasant gaming experience. Then after that, it was normal. But, like that kind of reminded me of that, like the idea of like just wearing the hat and becoming someone else. So I think it's cool that like there's just so many like traces of that just kind of in general.
Yeah, Odyssey totally ripped off Kirby by stealing the copy mechanic, right? Like the
whole, that's it. So it's like a weird hybrid blend thing. And
I understand.
And then I feel like Yoshi always kind of borrows from Kirby, and you can even see that with like Epic Yarn versus like Woolly World.
Yeah.
Though I don't know, was the Kirby game called Epic Yarn? Yeah, I think it was called Epic Yarn. So yeah, like just seeing those come out kind of at the same time. Actually, for a while in games, like Yarn was just a thread. Like there was Unravel. Like everyone was just Yarn was a thread.
Yarn's cool.
You said that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really didn't. I really wouldn't do that. Please drop me off this call if I would. But yeah, that's some cool stuff.
Kirby Epic Yarn is another game that like has Kirby in the title, but doesn't really play anything like a Kirby game. Like you can't really suck or like copy or anything like that. But it's a really good co-op game. Like my fiance and I, like we played a lot of that game, like because that's a really fun co-op game. We never played it all the way through, so I haven't, like similar thing, I haven't played the rest of it on my own, but it was a lot of fun to play. Like we had a good time with it, and actually can be really hard, like for the 2-player stuff. And
and
I was just gonna say in Woolly World, like was very similar. Like lots of like if you play through it regularly, it's kind of easy, but if you try to collect everything, it's really hard. It gets a lot more difficult.
Trying to collect everything in that game was like really difficult. Like I didn't even try to collect everything. I just wanted to get the flowers. That one I also called my brother. We did not finish it. It got really difficult. Like there's this one level that just like was too much. It was like a bunch of doors and things. But to your comment on Epic Yarn, it makes sense that it didn't feel like a Kirby game, because originally it wasn't going to be a Kirby game. That was kind of like I don't know how last minute it was decided to be a Kirby game, but when it was designed, it was just kind of like a general game. They're like, what if we made a Kirby? And then they did. So it kind of makes sense that it feels a little bit like not out of place, but just like different.
Yeah, I think like Nintendo does that a lot with a lot of their properties, where it's like, which is part of what I like about them so much, is they come up with a gameplay idea and then they kind of put the characters into it later. You know, they figure out the way the game's going to play. And Kirby's he's kind of an experimental character for a lot of stuff, where it's just like, we don't really know how to do this crazy mass attack thing where you control a bunch of guys with your stylus or whatever. Let's make them all Kirbys, you know, like, even though there's nothing really, there's no like suckability or copy or anything like that. But it's kind of like, yeah, throw Kirby on there. We might actually be able to sell it, you know? So it's kind of cool.
I bought it. It was great.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good game. It's on my list of, favorite Kirby games. And if you haven't played, Kirby Triple Deluxe is like $20 on the 3DS. If you still play 3DS, you can buy it for cheap, and that one's really fun. I think any of the mainline, Kirby games, like probably like Return to Dreamland, Robobot, or Triple Deluxe, I think are all great recommendations for if you want to, you know, if you're not really into Kirby, but you want to try like a really good one. I think all of those are great. Robobot was like the game of the year, I think, of that one year where like nothing really came out that Jeremy and I did. Like, 2016 was like Robobot was one of my game of the year.
When, Color Splash was my game of the year.
Yeah. It was, I think my game of the year was, like, Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Kirby Robobot. It was like that one, but they were both great games. So, you know, is there anything else? Is there anything I'm forgetting about Kirby? I know he has a very vast stuff. I haven't played I ordered Kirby Tilt and Tumble, and I got the Japanese version of it, and I didn't realize how difficult that game is to play. Kirby Tilt and Tumble, if you don't know, it has a gyroscopic sensor in it. Like, it was like one of the very first, like, you know, like Wiimotes or Joy-Cons or whatever, that technology. And it's like a Game Boy Color game, so it's made to be played like the old Game Boy. And if you try to play it like on a Game Boy Advance, since the cartridge is like reversed and goes in the bottom, it's like completely unplayable because everything is backwards. So I was having a hard time with that. You have to play with an old Game Boy, and you also have to have a light to play it with. So I was trying to play it with the old non-backlit Game Boy Advance, and it's very difficult to play. But is there any side ones that you guys have played? Did you try like Kirby? Did you try like Kirby Pinball or the block game, or I know we mentioned the golf one.
Kirby Air Ride? No, I actually haven't tried that.
I bought Air Ride. That's a weird game. That's like PUBG, like way back in the day of GameCube, you know, because you have
PUBG.
You get like
reading about that when that was supposed to be on the N64.
Air Ride? Oh yeah, it was.
For a long time, and then it just showed up on GameCube.
No, if you watch the original Nintendo Power video that was sent to you to promote Nintendo 64, at the very end of the video, it shows like seconds of 10 games at the very end, and one of them is Kirby Air Ride. It's like totally in there in that video. It's insane. They show like footage of like WCW and like GoldenEye and like all these other games, and Kirby Air Ride is like one of the last ones, and it shows him like floating around on the star. And then years later it came out for GameCube. But it's like such a strange game to where like you all get dropped into one area, you go around trying to find like power-ups in different ways, and then they throw you into some random multiplayer game at the end and you have to fight each other. Or have to race or whatever. That's basically that game. It's a totally PUBG of the early 2000s. You know.
Does it really have anything to do with Kirby though? I mean, or did they just put Kirby on it? Like, seems like.
I mean, there's powers that mirror his powers from the games.
He's on his star, right?
Yeah, he's on the pop star, but you get different, you get different things you can ride also, so you're not always on the star, but like there's, you know, the abilities like the sword and like the fire and like the ice or whatever, they look exactly like the copy abilities that you would have in a regular Kirby game. So I guess that's a similarity, and like the levels look like Kirby levels. But that stuff you could change and it wouldn't really affect that much of the way the game is.
Like at that point you're just kind of guessing intent, but Kirby's had so many there's more non-mainline Kirby games than mainline Kirby games, so it's like.
Yeah, no, there is.
What is anything anymore?
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I love about the guy. It's like put him on everything and you can make it worthwhile, right? You know, for the most part, you can be as weird as you want and just throw Kirby on there and it's a game.
Yeah, and
I guess that's what happens when you design the character and he's just like a circle with shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's like one of the, when they like made him clay for Rainbow Curse, that was like one of their reasonings. Like the clay was kind of like both aesthetics, but also to kind of like represent like how like malleable Kirby is as a character and how he can kind of be molded into anything.
Sure. Yeah, I liked how, and like same with like Canvas Curse on the DS where he's just a little ball and you just draw him around. Or what was there was another one where you drew him, right? Like there was another, or no, maybe that was the
Pac-Man. DS, right?
No, it was at the Pac-Man, the Pac-Pix one.
Well, there's one on the DS where on the DS where you like drew lines that Kirby would roll along.
Oh no, that's Canvas Curse.
That is Canvas Crystal.
That's what I was talking about, yeah. Which is really good. I mean, I think both of them are really good. Like, I really enjoyed the clay one because it's looks super pretty and it's a lot of fun to play.
Did anybody watch the Kirby TV show?
No.
Kirby Right Back at You?
Kirby Right Back at You, yeah.
That song
had 100 episodes though.
That song is so weird. Yeah, the anime or whatever it is. I know like the song is on Donkey Konga, if you guys ever played
That's
that.
That's how I
knew
about it.
Yeah.
The song, yeah.
Yeah, the Kirby
TV show, wow.
Yeah.
It's all a funnel. It's all like channels to get you to get all the stuff.
Yeah, yep.
It's like we got a
Nintendo's great at that.
Like
Kirby always sucks you in.
Yeah.
Now you get off the call.
Is there anything else you want to say about Kirby? I don't want to keep you too much later here. Is there any last thoughts on our Kirby topic here?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna buy the game. It's gonna be awesome. Also, I guess 2 last thoughts. One, I wish it looked better. I know people would think it looks really nice, but I think it did kind of suffer from not being 60 FPS, even though that sounds kind of silly because it's graphics in a Kirby game. It's literally a cartoon, but
it's really noticeable in the demo.
Yeah, so hopefully it looks cleaner maybe later. I don't know, but it definitely looks like a last gen game on a current gen console, and that's kind of awkward. Yeah, that's just generally awkward. So I do wish it looked nicer because it does seem it's a little fuzzy at parts, I feel like. But other than that, I don't really have any other major criticisms of it. I'm excited for it. And it's so cute without being too a little bit over the top cute. I feel like I'm currently playing Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time also with my brother, and I love that game, and it's fun. It's very adorable. But there are many times he turns to me this is way too cutesy, because it's literally you're saving the world from the evils against anti-love, it's very you're saving buddies and stuff in space. It's super cute. Yeah, this one it doesn't go that extreme, but I love how you just take the little heart and you throw it at people, and you can kiss your party members to heal them, which I still haven't completely figured out.
Oh yeah.
On how to even do, but I have succeeded to do it at one point. And it's adorable and funny. So I like those little aspects of it, and I think it's very cutesy even for a Kirby game, but I think it's to its benefit because it's kind of just funny how adorable they make it. Okay, we're all gonna roll together in a ball, or we're gonna do a little friend train and loop our way around. So yeah, I'm excited to see how ridiculous and cutesy it gets with it, and to see kind of what else this game has to offer in terms of what new abilities might come up, or just kind of I'm excited to see new characters, or rather older characters come back in there. I know it's getting DLC pretty early on, so it'll be intriguing to see how often are they going to be rolling out stuff a lot for this game? It's kind of weird they're having DLC so early. It kind of sets almost an expectation that there's going to be not a steady stream of support for this game, because that'd be weird, but just a few more updates kind of throughout, which is cool. I think it's nice that Nintendo's, trying to support this game and make it, a real thing and not just something to fill in kind of the quietness pre-E3. So looking forward to it.
For sure. Yeah, I'm wondering with all the extra characters they're adding on there in DLC if they're going to have some sort of extra single player on there. I don't know. It is kind of weird to add, because I don't think as far as I know, there isn't much DLC on any of the other Kirby games, or at least I don't think there has been. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to be added on there. I didn't really notice the frame thing, but maybe hopefully it's just the demo. I don't really know that much. I can't really tell, I guess, unless they're put together, unless I see it 60
me neither, and that's how I know it's bad. Which sounds really extreme, but when I play Doom on Switch, I'm this is bad. Look, it looks dusty. And everyone's it looks great, and I'm you're lying, because I don't care about graphics at all. So if I say it looks bad, that means it's it's noteworthy. And people also might not care, but
I didn't have problems with Doom either. So, but I played it on both. I played through half of it on PS4 and then on Switch also. But I don't know. I guess I'm not really good at catching frame rate and stuff like that. I guess as long as it's not chugging and affecting the gameplay, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Kirby comes out Friday. I'm excited about it. Like I said, this is our Janet and I's first Kirby game getting on the day, so it'll be a fun time.
Is this a full price game? I mean,
it is.
Okay.
It is, unless you have Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked, and then you can save 20%.
Or Amazon or whatever, right?
Yeah, 20%. It's decent. 20% on all games, all the time.
Yeah, you could do all that.
So taking advantage of that. It kind of makes me sad because I can't buy my games at GameStop. I like GameStop more than Best Buy by a lot, but I'm trying to go where the discounts are at, so sure. Best Buy. But yeah, I'm gonna pick it up there.
Is Toys R Us fully closed now? I mean, I heard that they were closing this week.
Way out, yeah.
But I was going to say they're officially done, because I was going to say if they aren't, maybe they somehow got. No, they probably wouldn't have got a shipment since they know they're closing. Because I wanted to try to see if there's any sort of crazy game closeout stuff.
Have you guys gone to depressingly pay your last respects to Toys R Us?
I need to.
I wanted to, but they're closed.
Dying Toys R Us.
Yeah. I mean, I heard they were closing now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just heard it today.
Yeah, I heard today that they were closed.
Today that they're done. So who knows? Maybe they did get one last shipment of games. Mm-hmm. It seems like it was a pretty sudden decision. So
I was gonna say
everybody just found out today. So
you could try to get Kirby there, but they probably didn't order it since they know they were closing. But I used some of those gold coins on it, like whatever I had left. I had like $3 worth, so I did took the tax off of it. So I pretty much just made it $59.99,
Something.
And then I ended up
better than just watching those coins sit in your account for 2 years or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, I ended up, it hasn't been out for, I don't know. I don't know how.
It's been over a year.
No, I mean, those gold coins, I figured they were all Switch gold coins. I don't know how it works, because some of them
me neither. It's not very clear
or whatever.
Or intuitive. I'm just like, I can save money, sure.
But I did get an extra $6 off of my next purchase for buying Kirby digitally, so it does come around,
That's cool.
I think some of them have bonuses depending on what it is. Like some will say plus 100 coins or whatever, if you get this. So, cause I didn't know how that worked, that I already got.
Maybe it's $6. New releases, if you buy them right away, you get bonus points.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, before I head out on the note of the Toys R Us thing, which is totally off topic, but yeah, Frank Cifaldi from the Game History org. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out. It's they're a nonprofit preserving video game history. They have a Patreon. They're awesome. You can get a bunch of cool old information about really obscure stuff in gaming. But he posted on Twitter, went and paid my last respects to Toys R Us last night. It's a weird dreamy wasteland in there now, and it's 4 images of this really destitute, empty Toys R Us, and it's just it looks like something from, there's some natural disaster and everything just got looted or something is what it looks like. I posted it a day ago. Check it out. It's pretty depressing, but also, I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of going to see the train wreck of it all. But yeah, I thought it was cool that they kind of went there and, talked about it. But yeah, there might be a few kind of still floating out there, but I do know that they got word that they're basically closing everything. So it's probably just a matter of time now. I was in the last Blockbuster I went to, I was there when it was closing. It had all its last sale, clearance stuff. It was pretty crazy to go, cause I would actually go even, into the, 2010, 2013, I was still like going to Blockbuster just to get some stuff, and so when it died, it was pretty sad. But yeah, but keep buying your games digital only, Trey.
It's my fault.
Don't care who gets hurt along the way.
I did. It's
digital
my
only
fault.
people are always like, why is everything closing? This is so upsetting. And I'm like, I don't know. I wonder why. I'm just messing with you.
The internet.
Trey's bought a lot. Trey's bought a lot of Amiibo.
That's true.
It's true.
Actually, the very first
he supported Toys R Us.
No,
it's true. But I saw him personally strangling Jeffrey the Draft, so
that was a long time ago. Don't bring that up.
That mascot needed to go. We all knew it.
Anyway,
all
right, guys, it's been fun.
I was gonna say on the
going off to my own dreamland and then waking up in a few hours to finish my work.
Okay.
But yeah, all right. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Have fun making your friend trains podcast and non.
Sure.
Thanks for having me on. Hoping to be back soon.
For sure. Thanks a lot, Janet.
Thank you.
And we can catch you at Game Onesis, right? On Twitter.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yourself.
Yeah, sure thing. Twitter at Game Onesis, which is spelled Game ONYSUS. It's my handle across all social media, on everything. I'm on YouTube. I have a Patreon that feeds into that YouTube channel. I'm kind of starting back again on Twitch. Once again, same handle, Game Onesis. Just did a live stream of the Stanley Parable, which was crazy because I never played it, and I was like, what? So check that out. It was pretty interesting trying to get all the different endings that I could in the span of about 2 to 3 hours I streamed it for. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. And all right, I'll see you guys when I see you.
Yeah, so that's been episode 112. Thanks for coming on, Janet. We're your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Knitter.
Janet Garcia.
And, you can catch us at NintenDomainPodcast.com. YouTube, I have a YouTube site, youtube.com/Fingmater, FINGMATER. Check out, Game Onesis is your YouTube also, Janet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check out Janet's YouTube. Check out our Twitches. Is it the same Game Onesis for Twitch also? Twitch.tv?
Yeah.
Same thing here, / NintenDomain Podcast. Catch all that, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.
Later.
And like,
get there.
Nope. I don't know.
You don't agree with me?
You came back for 1 frame.
Yeah. This is the frame rate for Kirby right here from what I've heard.
Just